My name is Chris Hall. I'm the program manager for the Interprofessional Education Collaborative, and we're joined today by Shelley Cohen-Conrad, the director of the Interprofessional Education Collaborative. And we're here to celebrate the work of so many students and faculty who have been working all semester on various projects, and it's great to be able to come together and show each other what we've been up to. The format for today is to we just had a little poster viewing. We're going to do a few very brief presentations and awards, and then we'll round out the end of the time with more poster viewing. We're going to start our presentations today with a presentation that comes from the Interprofessional Team Immersion, which is something that occurs in the new Simulation Center, where students from 8 or more health professions get together as a team and interview a standardized patient as a team. And we know that that's not going to be standard practice in the world, but when you're in a conversation with a team, you're learning about other professions, the kinds of questions they ask, the kinds of things that they care about for the patient, and the way that they elicit that information from the patient. And we hope that when you go in the future into talk to a patient, you have your social worker on your shoulder or the PA on your shoulder, and say, oh yeah, I remember that went this way for them, and let me see if I can try it and take advantage of what I learned from them. So our first presentation is called In Michael We Trust. And In Michael We Trust team, are you ready?
So thank you for having us all gather today to talk about our experience that we had with Michael. We're excited to share it with you. We are representing 8 different healthcare professions, and we worked as a collaborative team to assist Michael with his needs, but we also let him kind of lead the session. So upon our first meeting, we decided on the name Team Trust because we wanted to embody the characteristics that are on the screen now. And so I'm just going to breeze over these quickly. We wanted to especially address teamwork, respect, unity, safety, and transparency. So a little bit about Michael. He is a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran, and he was presenting to a multidisciplinary Veteran Affairs clinic. He was concerned about his falls and the pain he was having due to those, as well as had a small laceration on his head and a broken tooth. So his main concerns were the falls that, again, was aggravating the leg pain, and that was due to a history of leg fractures that was a old war injury. He wanted to maintain his independence and decrease the number of medications that he was on. He had many strengths that we learned over the course of our sessions. He was very resilient. As you can see, he had a lot of qualities that embodied resilience. He was a hard worker, was very self-aware, and open to discuss his PTSD, as well as a motivated worker who wanted to stay employed as well as care for his dog. He also had some challenges. He had diabetes type 2, periodontal disease, arthritis, chronic pain, PTSD as mentioned, insomnia, and he was also self-medicating for the pain, and he experienced isolation. He had a few resources to help him out. The Veteran Affairs Clinic, he had secure housing, transportation, and a social support system. Next, each profession will share a little bit about their role.
Hi guys, my name is Sing Yu and I'm from the dental medicine program. As a dental professional, my primary role in Michael's treatment was to establish initial contact after he fell and chipped his tooth. My primary concern was to resolve his tooth pain to gain his trust. I would then introduce Michael's case to the team after a complete medical history revealed the underlying problems of his falls. With the team, I would address any oral treatment needs perpetuating his conditions, for instance, resolving his gum disease, to better manage his diabetes through increased glycemic control, or restoring his chipped tooth to prevent psychosocial anxiety.
Hi, I'm Lila Maycock, and I'm the social worker that was part of Michael's team. My primary role on this team was to incorporate facilitation of all the different healthcare professions, and also to keep Michael's concerns the center of our focus for the treatment planning. especially his concern that he lead an independent lifestyle and that we cut down on the number of medications that he was taking.
My name's Ryan Juna. I'm from the College of Osteopathic Medicine, and as an osteopathic physician, we have the same training as DOs, and something that stood out to me was Michael's complex health history, including PTSD, diabetes, and chronic pain, with a lot of medications that met Beer's criteria and had interactions. My focus would be to work with Michael through the long term with medical management, management of medication, as well as find the health within him. And as an osteopath, I'm also trained in osteopathic manipulative treatment, which I can use to help manage some chronic pain as well as somatic dysfunction within him.
Hello, my name is Taylor Sear. I'm a physician assistant student here at UNE. Upon reading Michael's chart, I wrote a template out on how I would collect information from Michael at his first encounter. Michael had an extremely complex case, and I knew that his social history would be very detrimental for us as a team. And with the chief complaint of recurrent falls, I was most concerned about his medication list, diabetes management, and his chronic diagnosis of degenerative bone disease, which caused him chronic pain.
Hi, my name is Bailey Wilson, and I'm a nursing student. The primary role of a nurse is to advocate and care for patients of all origins and backgrounds. In Michael's case, this included understanding his personal and medical history, educating him about the management of his illness, and providing proper support and advice. It was also imperative that we collaborated with the rest of the team to formulate a plan of care that would be both manageable and effective for Michael.
I'm Vanessa White. I'm also from the nursing program, and additionally, as nurses, it's important to look at or assess Michael's home life and as well as his coping skills. So what is his home life like? Does he have assistive devices? Who lives with him? And stuff like that, encompassing his entire holistic approach.
My name is CJ, and I'm the student physical therapist that was assigned to Michael's case. And although I didn't have a chance to go in during either session, these are some of the interventions that I would have focused on. First and foremost, I would have definitely administered a falls risk assessment to objectively measure his fear of falling and the extent to which his falls contribute to activity limitations and participation restrictions in the home as well as in the community. Other aspects that I would have focused on are a diabetic foot screen, because he did have diabetes, an evaluation of his safety with transfers and ambulation, a prescription of a home exercise program that would enable him to discontinue the use of his opioids and the use of his cannabis that were his primary means of pain control.
Hello, I'm from occupational therapy. My name is Crystal, and as OTs, we help people do the things that they need and want to do that are through daily activities, and we call those occupations. So with Michael, before I met him, I had 4 main concerns: his safety with functional mobility, what his home setup was like, did he use a cane, did he have any vision issues, how was he managing his PTSD symptoms, and did that interfere with his occupations or routines, as well as medication management, how he was taking his medication, if he had a system in place that worked for him, as well as the insomnia. I didn't know if he had any medication interactions that were causing him issues there. And then, so during the interaction, I kind of built his occupational profile. So what was challenging to him and what was going well as what a typical day was like. That provided my whole team with a lot of information that we were curious about, as well as addressing what was satisfying and dissatisfying to him, and by taking that information, creating a plan. So then coming back together as a team, we decided that medication management was really important because it affected a lot of the areas that we needed to work on. So we addressed that, and afterwards, because we didn't have a lot of time, I would have addressed the other concerns I had initially.
Hi, my name is Haley from College of Pharmacy. So pharmacist's role in Michael's case was to ensure if he's taking right medication was right direction. Unfortunately, the patient was not happy about it because he was on too many medication, and we noticed there are some drug-drug interaction. So my main goal was to focus on minimize medication list, and with his new medication list, we were able to discuss how to monitor his blood sugar level. Also, I refer him to the doctor for the further treatment.
so I think we're going to get kicked off pretty soon, time-wise. So I'm going to just quickly summarize things that we thought went well and things that we thought didn't go so well. So one of the major things that I think we could have done better was time management. I think everybody that does this realizes that there's all these interventions that we really want to do, but how much time do we actually have in 2 24-minute sessions? Another thing that I thought we could have done better was realizing when and I guess this is also one of our strengths, was deciding when to take the backseat role and when you need to really step up and advocate for your profession and say, hey, I can address Michael's concerns maybe in a different way that might relate to his primary concern a little more so. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, was the humility we had amongst our professions. And just summarizing it, we all realized through this experience that all of our professions overlap, and not one profession is really the best at addressing concerns, and we all can do a lot of things that we didn't realize each other could do. So we're thankful for this experience and having put it on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, team. So every semester, around 64 students from 8 different professions have the chance to go through the team immersion and experience what was described there. So our next presentation is from an interprofessional student-led mini grant. And if our Empowering Women team can come up. This is for you. Don't touch the computer. Should we share?
Hello, everybody. My name is Julia Berquist. I'm a social work student here at UNE. I'm here to talk about our mini grant. So essentially, this project started with a conversation with one of my professors, Professor Tom McLaughlin, about a totally different country. I wanted to go to Jamaica and do a service learning project there, and he brings up that he's going to India for several months to collaborate with a business school there. So essentially, as we're talking, he's kind of offers, do you want to go? And introduces the concept of microloans, which I'll talk about in a moment. So essentially, I thought about it and was like, of course I want to go. This will be awesome. And basically put out a help wanted ad to multiple professions around the concept of microloans. So Alyssa Wyman is another social work student that I worked with in previous mini grants. And she'd been to India 2 other times. So I reached out to her, and then I reached out to public health, and Whitney was kind enough to join us. And then we also reached out to the business school, where Courtney Reynolds, who unfortunately had a previous academic commitment, also reached out, and we created this interprofessional mini grant team of awesome women. So essentially, we utilized all of our knowledge of the different topic areas and professions to look into the role of microloans in women empowerment programs, specifically in Mangalore, India, but also in India in general. Essentially, what microloans are small, low-interest loans given from a bank to new small businesses. And how they're being utilized currently is to help women become financially empowered in small communities. So essentially what that looks like is it's a self-help group of typically 5 to 10 women coming together and utilizing social support and kind of group accountability to generate microloans to support their small businesses. So that's the kind of business idea behind this concept that we wanted to look into, and that's how our mini grant started. So this also is a concept utilized throughout our country here. If you've been to Whole Foods recently, they're doing this project with women in Africa, distributing microloans and selling their wares within Whole Foods businesses, as well as other businesses utilizing the same concept to help women right here in our country. And here is Whitney with the public health perspective.
Okay, so I joined this team to help assess the impact that these microloan programs would have, if at all, on public health. Since we aren't doctors, we weren't looking at physical health status of these women, but rather some of the other factors that are really influential in overall health status. So we're looking at what good health means to these women, if they have access to quality and affordable health care, what their nutritional and dietary habits are, if there's a strong infrastructure, including clean water and sanitation in the areas that they live in, and even looking at some indicators of mental health status. So obviously a lot of these questions are pretty personal in nature, and one of the biggest challenges I think for Julia and Alyssa while they were in India was having enough time to develop the relationships deep enough to get women talking about some of these sensitive issues. But regardless of that, between some of the answers they were able to obtain through the interviews and existing research on this topic, we did get a pretty strong foundation of this idea and ideas for future research that will help build upon this. But ultimately, these economic drivers can and should have an impact on public health, but specifically for women, we believe that their biggest determinant is going to be the gender disparities, the gender disparities and the cultural norms that exist within a patriarchal society. That what it comes down to is that if these women are out there making money, do they have the financial autonomy and decision-making power in the household to actually spend that money on maintaining their own personal health?
And from the social work perspective, I worked with Whitney pretty closely on that sort of macro level sort of idea of health and wellness, but we also wanted to break it down a little bit into the micro perspective. What are the community supports that things like these microloans can help enhance within that individual community? We also wanted to, and we're really determined from the beginning to make this really a cross-cultural experience. So kind of going in, what do social supports look like within the Indian culture versus like our social work culture. And we met with a lot of social workers over there as well, and things looked really similar. And what we did find was that the community context is often really stratified. So by religion, by caste, by social class, so how to work within those systems. And then, so our actual process of how we kind of went about doing this. Before we went to India, we all worked as a collaborative team on questionnaires, and then Julia and myself had the opportunity to go to India, where we interviewed mostly administrators of the microloan process, so bankers, NGOs. We went to an elementary school, domestic violence shelter, a psychiatric institution, so talked to a lot of the people that are in charge of implementing these microloans, but like Whitney sort of talked about, really, and next steps, hopefully, if somebody was to continue this research, is getting to the participants and really getting their feedback. So this is more of a lay of the land and seeing how these look within that social structure. So lessons we learned, microloans are an incredible tool, giving somebody that financial autonomy to be able to make decisions, start a business, and have that financial independence can be really, really huge, specifically for women who may not have access to that in either previous decades or in their traditional community culture. We also found that education is a huge piece of this project: financial education, health education, women's empowerment education, and how you can't just have the microloan structure sort of in and of itself. It needs to come with this other educational component. And hopefully with all of that education, then the attitudes of the community will start to change, which we are seeing a shift with or without microloans in India right now, with it becoming more inclusive and having more women at the front of businesses and things like that. But ultimately, the biggest takeaway, I think, is that India is incredibly diverse. We went in one small part of India, but depending on North versus South, or the culture and the caste and the religion, it's extremely diverse, and not to make any assumptions based on that, but microloans could be a really helpful tool for both Indian culture and maybe even our own culture.
So thank you very much for taking the time to hear about our project. I would just love to put in, these are references, but put in a plug for IPEC mini grants in general. This was such a rewarding process for us all, and each of us really learned a lot from the collaboration that occurred between our group, as well as writing that mini grant. It was an excellent opportunity, so I would highly suggest, if you're not graduating, like us, which is exciting, then you should definitely contact IPEC and learn more about the mini grant process, because it's a great opportunity. So thank you so much.
So our next presentation is going to be in the form of some scenes performed from a play about sex trafficking. We had an IPEC event about human trafficking this year, and this social work student wanted to take it a little bit further, and so she put together a mini grant and performed for a group of preceptors, social work preceptors. So come on up.
Hey everyone, just before we get started, I just wanted to give a little bit of information about what you're about to see. So the scenes that we will be reading are taken from a play called Body and Sold by a woman named Deborah Fortson. She actually went around the country and interviewed survivors of sex trafficking, and so the words that we are reading to you all are verbatim accounts. They're direct stories that came from survivors. That being said, I just wanted to do a little trigger warning. We are about to talk about some things that can be a little bit graphic. The scenes that we are reading do include, obviously, stories about sex trafficking, but there's also violence that is discussed, and resilience. So please take care of yourselves as we go through these couple short scenes. If you do need to excuse yourself or step out of the room for any reason, please feel free to do that at any time.
Scene 1, getting free, getting trapped.
I was 9 when I first ran away. Stuff was not right in my home. The police picked me up. They put me in a foster home. The agency did that, and I missed my mom and my sister. But the family was nice. I mean, they never said I was bad, and the house was clean. They had pretty curtains and a tablecloth, and they cooked real good. I loved it there. Then my foster mom, she got sick, and I had to move away. In the next place, the lady there was always all up in my face about everything. I mean, she couldn't stand me, and so I got kicked out of that home. And then in this last home, there was all this weird shit happening. I mean, almost the same as in my real house. My stepdad was more violent at home. But anyway, I've been through enough stuff. I'm 13. I need to be out on my own, so I'm getting on a bus somewhere.
Greyhound bus to New York City, now loading in gate 15. The 9:15 bus for New York, boarding now. During this announcement, Billy enters, looking around. Billy's style is slick and studied. He's a small-time player, an entrepreneur. Jeanette checks the things in her bag and puts her teddy bear on top.
I've got $20 that I stole from my foster mother's purse. She was gonna drink it all up anyway. And I have one outfit and a shirt and an extra pair of shoes. I forgot to bring extra underwear, so that's smart, right? And I brought my small teddy bear.
Hey, what's good?
What?
Now boarding, the gate 10, the 9:30 Peter Pan bus to Worcester. Bus for Worcester will leave in approximately 4 minutes.
So you grabbing that bus today, taking little Teddy for a ride? Hey, just trying to have a little conversation with you. Are you new to the city?
Why are you new to the city?
Nah, I've been around.
Well, I've been here. I live right over there in the corner by the Baptist church, and
Hold on. I don't want to know where you live. You don't know a thing about me, and you don't have to say nothing. It's all right. I know what it's like to be running alone. Yeah, I do.
running.
Yeah, you're running from something, right?
None of your business.
Something's not right at home. Now listen, I can help you out a little here because I've been there myself. But you don't have to listen to me. Just keep talking, you know, keep warm. Your little teddy bear there, he doesn't need to talk to keep warm, right? He's got all that fur. Hey, don't be scared.
I ain't scared.
Now you're a good-looking girl. You know that? You know that? You got a pretty smile. And you remind me of a cousin of mine. And seriously, you don't have anything to be scared of. I'm just talking with you here. Look, why don't we go grab a cup of coffee, maybe a hot chocolate or something? How's that sound?
Last call for Worcester bus. The Worcester bus is leaving immediately. All aboard.
You going to Worcester? All right. So I'm just gonna go get us some hot chocolate. You sit here and I'll be back. All right?
So I had a cup of hot chocolate with him. We sat there for a couple of hours and he was real sympathetic about my family and stuff. I mean, he gave me a place to chill for the night, and I'm thinking, this dude is nice. And he didn't even ask me to have sex with him. Not for the first 3 weeks, anyway. There were a couple of girls there, part of his business operation. That's what Billy said. They cooked. One of them made great chicken. I thought, this is cool, and Billy told me that I had beautiful eyes, and he liked my laugh. No one in my family had ever told me stuff like that, you know? I fell in love with him.
Yeah. You gotta be cool. You gotta make them think that you love them. Doesn't take too much. You just gotta be gentle. You just gotta be cool. You just gotta love them a little.
And we partied every night. I mean, good clubs, too. When Billy's girls would be getting ready to go out, it was like a carnival or something. Everyone was so excited, looking fly. I mean, he said the girls were his business, but I was his girlfriend. He bought me Tiffany earrings. I mean, I was all blinged out.
You find out what they want, and you get it for them. They like your car, let them drive it. They like your threads, let them touch it. Hey, baby, we're having a good time, right?
Sure.
Well, right now, we're running a little short of cash. I can't afford to just, you know, keep looking after you like this. You know, I'm gonna have to leave town soon unless you know you can help out a little bit. You've seen what the other girl's been doing, right?
I couldn't believe it. He turned me out.
All right, you're looking fine. So here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna get a little smoke before we go out there. That's gonna make you feel all right. It's real simple. Baby girl's gonna show you exactly what to do. She's gonna come along with you, not a thing to worry about. But remember, you make the deal before you get in the car. Get the money up front. And don't look at the other pimps.
I was embarrassed. A car rolls up, I get in. I made my first $80.
All right. Yeah, I'm proud of you. You're like one of the family now.
He was so happy and it made me feel good, so I went back out there with the girls. We hit the high life then, shit. I felt like a celebrity. I mean, we went to New York City, Atlantic City, we drove to Miami, and the girls were all glamorous, and half of them were guys, but I didn't even really know it. And I mean, baby girl took care of me. I got my hair and my nails done every week. Shit, I was all set.
Scene 2. Shit starts to hit the fan.
Hey, what's that there?
What?
Hey, what'd I tell you?
That's $6 you got there, not talking about no money.
You remember what happened to Marie?
When she fell down the stairs?
Yeah, that was a nasty accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So you see, I want you to make sure that you give me all your money, because I wouldn't want you to have any sort of bad accident. You see that, right?
Uh-huh.
What?
Yes, I see.
Marie got her leg broke, didn't she?
Yes.
And she couldn't go to the hospital, so her leg ain't never been right.
Yeah.
I knew this girl once. She fell like that. All her little bones got all broken up. Even her neck. You hear me?
I hear you.
Good. That's good. Then you won't be forgetting the rules anymore.
No.
That's my girl. All right, you get yourself ready. We're going to be hitting a new club tonight, and you're gonna love it.
Scene 3, home.
At home, I'd have to write a note if I went to the store, call from the store, and call when I was leaving. We'd wake up at 3 o'clock, make some eggs, listen to TV. Sometimes baby girl and me'd sneak over to the video arcade. About 8, we'd get ready, take showers, smoke, do some stuff. I couldn't ever go out there just regular. I needed to be off my square to do it. And 2 weeks after I did my first date, Billy hit me. Then he started forcing me out to work, and I couldn't come in until I earned $700. One night, I couldn't go out, so Billy broke my arm. You get numb to it.
Scene 4, breaking free.
Then we're out there one night in the pouring rain, and he didn't come to get us, so we still had all of our money. And baby girl says, "Let's go, let's take off." And I say, "No." And she says, "Yeah, I've had enough, and you're coming with me." And so she packs us into a cab, and he calls. And he's apologizing, and he's saying he's sorry he's late, and we say, "Well, we're at Lenny's Pizza." And then all of a sudden, he must have been at the pizza place because he says, "You're not here, you stupid hose. Where are you at? Where's my money?" And we didn't answer. We hung up on him, and we kept it moving.
This young girl is growing up everywhere. When we say everywhere, we also mean this state, this community, and this nation, and this world. This issue is something that is an international issue and plagues this community. Right here in Maine, in 2015, there's an estimated 200 to 300 victims of sex trafficking in Maine per year.
And there's a lot of help out there for folks, and we can help as well. So check in with some local resources. There's some great organizations in our area. There's Survivors Speak, a great organization. There's the Preble Street Anti-Trafficking Coalition. You can join us over at our table over there for some, get some more information, find out how you can be involved.
We're hoping that this play and this conversation is the beginning of awareness, change, and education here on the UNE campus so that we can spread it out into the world. We believe that all the health professions are in a really unique position to combat this issue. So as Glenn said, we have tons of resources, more information. Come over and meet the rest of our IPEC team at our table over here. And thank you all so much.
Thank you.
We do want to, we're going to switch the agenda around a little bit and get to the M. Lisa Pagnucco Interprofessional Service Award. And we're going to start with the inestimable Nancy McRae. So if you want to come on up.
Nancy always tells me that I don't wear bright enough colors, so you see the difference? And it hasn't changed in how long have we known each other?
Long time.
Long time. So these are for you.
Thank you.
Beautiful, bright colors. And I'm just going to say a few words about Nancy and the evolution of what we've done together. So this month, May 2018, marks the 8th anniversary of IPEC. What began as a very small group of faculty with a desire to build a culture of shared cross-disciplinary learning has, as you can see, blossomed into a university-wide initiative that brings together students from all of our colleges and programs. The success of IPEC is due in no small part to this woman here. Her pioneering passion for interprofessional learning began almost 20 years ago, right? More than, she's telling me already what to say, right? She's been a leader and a mentor to all of us who strive for excellence, integrity, and relevancy in team-based learning and practice. Those of us who work alongside Nancy appreciate her forthrightness, her generosity, and her inventive spirit. And it's not in the notes, but she was the first, I believe, to publish in an interprofessional journal with an interprofessional article. May 2018 also marks Nancy's official retirement from UNE, and we will miss you so much. I'm sure that you will miss us too, but I know you're going to have a heck of a wonderful time. Yes. And we expect that she'll come back and visit us to make sure we're doing everything right. So it is my great honor to be the person to present you with the M. Lisa Pagnuco Interprofessional Service Award this year, and it's my great honor. So congratulations. You wanna say something? No.
Thank you. This is most appreciated and very humbling. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a second recipient, and I've been told I'm not supposed to say very much, but tough. Dave Moakler, come to the stage. Flowers for you too.
Oh, excellent.
There
Thank
go.
you.
It's a little drippy at the bottom, but
okay.
wanted them to live through the presentation. So, David was one of the original IPE adopters at the College of Osteopathic Medicine, and where he's been a professor of pharmacology. Do you want me to say that date?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 1986, before some of you were born, I'm sure. And like all of the recipients today, and like all of the people in our audience who have been dedicated to this initiative for years and give of yourselves so generously, we are dedicated to the belief that health professionals must be both excellent in their craft and very competent members of any team that they become a part of, and that's our goal. And David has really been instrumental in bridging that gap between our Portland campus and our Biddeford campus. It's been incredible. And David is also retiring this year. So we will miss him terribly, although he's already guaranteed to me that he will be around on campus. And we're going to get you to do IPTE next year.
Okay. I will do that. In front of all these people, I'll say that.
Yes, yes. And we will expect him to be around, even if he's just waving to us from his boat that is right offshore on the Biddeford campus. So join me in congratulating David.
Thank you. No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So that one is first. Okay.
It's my honor to introduce Jen Van Deusen. So, Jen is the Director of Curriculum for the College of Osteopathic Medicine and is one of our 3 M. Lisa Pagnuco Interprofessional Service Award recipients for 2018. Lisa Pagnuco is a very much loved and missed faculty from the School of Pharmacy who set the bar high for faculty participation. Jen's dedication to the quality of the student experience has helped to shape many cohorts of students of osteopathic medicine and from other programs as she's been involved in interprofessional undertakings. Her emphasis on the quality of the learning environment and the engagement required of hands-on experiential learning is a direct result of who I experience her to be as a person. Fiercely focused, flexibly kind, compassionate yet inexorably exacting. I typed that and wondered if I could say it out loud in front of all of you, and I did. She's constantly teaching us. If only we will listen. So congratulations and thank you, Jen. I think we'll take the opportunity now to present the Dallaire Leadership Scholarship to our 2 recipients for this year. And I want to take a moment to recognize that Brian and his wife, Deborah Dallaire, provide funding for the mini grants that you heard so much about today, and also for this scholarship every year. And he's here, so please, a round of applause. Thank you so much for your support of IPE. And Leslie, do you want to come up and make your presentation to Najiri? And Najiri, are you here?
that's really sweet. Hi, my name is Leslie Oakes, and I'm faculty from the College of Pharmacy and Vice Chair for the Department of Pharmacy Practice. And I'm honored to be with you today to present one of the Dallaire Interprofessional Leadership Scholarships to one of our second-year pharmacy students, Najeri Clark. She's been very involved in many different interprofessional activities and projects across our campus and community and is most deserving of this scholarship today. Through her work with the IPE mini grants, she and her social work peers have created the Intercultural Health and Science Program for Youth Empowerment, which aim to foster positive identity development and empowering by exposing Passamaquoddy youth to health professions, higher education, and healthy living as it relates to their traditions and beliefs. And this program also emphasizes community engagement and learning to honor the wishes of the tribe, the youth, and the University of New England. She's also currently working with occupational health students and faculty to develop another mini grant to understand the role of the pharmacist and mini grant to understand the role of the pharmacist and occupational therapists in the clinical setting to improve patient care. In addition to her mini grant, she's had a background in theater and has recently served as a standardized patient for the Expert Student Learner Program, helping her fellow students to practice the screening tools for substance use disorder and conducting motivational interviewing and referrals for treatment. At a meeting preparing for the role, she was amazed at all the connections that she was able to make across the many different health profession programs and in the community. She also volunteers for the Milestone Clinic, where students across multiple professions provide foot screenings to check for peripheral neuropathies and wounds, and then bathes homeless men's feet. She's not only providing a service to her community, but she's also building relationships and trust with the community members who come to the clinic, but also with her interprofessional peers, learning with and from each other. Najeri tells us this is how she thinks the practice should be, working as teammates and serving our patients with the same kind of zeal and passion that we have in working with each other. This is my purpose as a healthcare professional. After learning that she received the scholarship, she stated, IPEC is everything. Congratulations, Najeri, for this much-deserved scholarship and your commitment and dedication to the interprofessional practice and education.
Invite Liz Cramsey from Occupational Therapy to come up for our next awardee.
So unfortunately, I don't have the large vocabulary words of Chris Hall or direct quotes, but it is my pleasure, my sincere pleasure, to share information about the other Dallaire Interprofessional Leadership Scholarship recipient, Morgan Mitchell. Morgan's interests in IPE include both in-campus and in community-based initiatives that extend from her undergraduate experience in health, wellness, and occupational studies, and now in the occupational therapy program here at UNE. As an undergraduate, Morgan was involved in the development of chronic pain videos and case reports, with one of the clients being extra near and dear to her heart, and these videos can be found at une.edu website /pain. As her academic advisor, Morgan's reputation in IPE preceded her transition here to the Portland campus. She presented her work with MedBio student Samantha Shepard at Altogether Better Health in Oxford English Dictionary, where she also represented UNE on an international interprofessional student team case competition. So Morgan has had the opportunity to present nationally, internationally, and regionally. Morgan has been an advocate for IPE on both campuses, participating in early student focus groups with the new president and working with as a graduate assistant in the IPEC office. She is the secretary of the Interprofessional Student Advisory Team and completed her SBIRT student leader training this semester. We look forward to her continuing to follow her progress as an interprofessional leader in the field. Please join me in recognizing and congratulating Morgan Mitchell.
I would like to just briefly, we're going to talk a little bit about the Interprofessional Student Advisory Team. I'd like to call Mary Selby up. The Interprofessional Student Advisory Team is students from all professions working together to, I like to hope that it's the fun aspect of IPEC. we're the serious academic aspect, and then the students are the fun aspect. And Mary is the interim president, and she wanted to talk a little bit about her vision for next year, and she'll be available afterwards to take questions.
Hi, everyone. I'm a first-year student with occupational therapy, and I was introduced to IPSAT during the fall of last semester. Just quick show of hands, who has been to an IPSAT event? Yeah, I know, not a whole lot of visibility, and I actually think that's a really great jumping off point because as I've discussed with Ms. Hall, IPSAT has the opportunity to not just grow, but to really make a difference with the UNE campus. I've also sat in on a handful of luncheons regarding the dean search, and a couple of key points that keep popping up are not only the constant desire for interprofessional collaboration. Obviously, that's a big portion of why we even came to UNE in the first place. It is a major portion that we need to carry on past graduation, and it's just a key aspect of our professionalism. The other aspect that keeps popping up is a call for more community outreach aspects. And I feel that in reflecting back on what IPSAT has done and what it can be moving forward, I really would like to see that IPSAT can be the community outreach organization. This can include collaborating with programs that already exist and producing a little bit more awareness. It can also be talking to the students and reflecting back on what they're calling for. This is an opportunity for us to create IPSAT in what we want it to be. Interprofessionalism, moving out into the community, will distinguish us graduates as leaders. And the opportunity for us to call for what we want and really make a difference in the community, taking advantage of the greater Portland area. It has so many populations in need, so many things that we can make a difference in. I'm hoping that all of you will consider what you want to make out of your education. IPEC is mostly focused on the education aspect, and we have the student body government in GAPSA. Why don't we also take our education out into the community with IPSAT? We're calling for hopefully two members of each discipline to sit in on the board. That way we can help spread around a little bit of the resources as well as the efforts to make something happen. Ideally 2 events per semester. Please spread this discussion amongst your other classmates, amongst other disciplines, so that we can get, talking about what we want. We're gonna try to collaborate more during the summer and figure out exactly what the schedule looks like. But the major incentive is that we have now been able to make IPSAT a distinguished leadership component for IP Honors distinction. So membership will count. Make it count. So please, I invite you all to grab a brochure, talk to myself, Ms. Hall, or Ms. McCormick-Tutt with any questions, and thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thanks for all who remain. It is still sunny out, and it will be sunny out 20 minutes from now. So take a moment to have a look at the posters if you haven't had a chance. Thank you so much for all your work over the course of the semester, and congratulations.